Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to that segment. Yes, it's that time again, and I know everyone's worried about what's happening and what can be done. So we're talking about travel, of course. It's that time of the week where we talk about travel, and of course, there's so many things that we need to be talking about, and people are very worried, and many people, just want to get some information about what they can do. It's not that they won't do the right thing. They'd like to do the right thing, but they want to be informed as well. Hey, by the way, this is our 29th episode. So welcome to the show, and welcome, Tanvi, once again to your 29th episode.
Thank you so much, Umeshi, and thanks to you and AusIndia, Australian Indian Radio for this opportunity. It's 29th episode. That's really quite exciting and amazing. And thank you, each one of you, for giving us so much love and support, and let us keep going. So that's really amazing. So, guys, before we go ahead, I would like to inform you all the information we provided today in this episode are general information only. As you know, every single day there are some announcements coming, some different rules and regulations coming. So please make sure that you are up to date with all the information. If you need anything, you can call us as well.
And definitely, because the rules and regulations keep changing, and you need to keep up to date and keep informed of all the things that are happening out there. And as we know, as we progress into the show, we will talk about many of those changes and when and how they might get back to normal, or what the changes would be and like. So once again, Tanvi, so what is the main update for this week?
Umeji, before we go ahead, guys, I also want to tell you all that those who are in India, those who are planning to go from here, India, and each one of you are in our prayers. So please stay safe. If you're here, please don't worry much about it. Things are changing. I'm going to tell you all announcements as well. But everyone in India is in our prayers, and I'm sure it will get over it very, very soon. So first of all, I'd like to tell you all about what's happening in Australia to India, since there was an announcement last few weeks, who can go, who can't. So at this stage, all Indian citizens with temporary visas, they can fly without any issues. Only requirement is that you need to go to your COVID test 72 hours before departure, like we were doing before. So if you do that test, we have quite a few flights, which I'm going to discuss with you a bit later in the episode, which you would know from which city, what flights are there. But yes, Indian citizens on temporary visa can still fly from Australia to India without any issues. And as far as the exemption is concerned for Australian citizens and PR, still we are waiting for the next announcement, and we're expecting something might come next week or maybe close to 15th of May. So we'll definitely keep looking into it and update you guys whenever it arrives. Next is from India to Australia. So India to Australia, I think most of you should have seen it already, but let me just go through with you the main points again. So our Prime Minister Scott Morrison confirmed that the ban going to be ended on 15th of May, which is really very good news. He said we will restore our recreational flights from India and bring Australians who are in India back home, but we must do it safely. So that's why they put this temporary pause in place, so we can get the extra measures in place, so we don't end up with a third wave of COVID-19 in Australia. So there was a reason behind it, and that's how it happened. So let's take a look at the announcement.
Officer Dr. Kelly declared India a high-risk country for the purposes of travel arrangements into Australia. Throughout the pandemic, we have always taken decisions to keep Australians safe. These have been difficult decisions. They have ensured that here in Australia, we have been able to lead the world in our response to the pandemic. These decisions are often very difficult, but they are made with all Australians in mind, seeking to do the best in Australia's national interests. To put these latest developments in some context, in the week before we put restrictions in place, 57% of COVID-19 positive cases in our quarantine systems had come from people arriving from India.
So there you are.
Okay. Also, I want to tell you all that there is a bit of change, though the flight going to start. But passengers on future flights from India will be required to have both negative PCR test result as well as a negative rapid antigen test result prior to departure. So earlier the rapid antigen test wasn't there. So please remember, if you are taking one of the future flights from India to Australia, you have to do this particular test as well. So these are the main updates for Australia to India and India to Australia. And now about other updates. So Qantas yesterday deputed a new direct route between Brisbane and Coffs Harbour on the New South Wales North Coast. So 4 weekly flights would be there, will operate between these two cities, with finally launching after so many days and after a lot of delay. They were planning to start actually when we had a lockdown in Brisbane some time back, but now they are going to start finally. And not only Brisbane and Coffs Harbour, they're also planning to start from Melbourne. So Melbourne and Coffs Harbour is also, they're planning to connect very soon. So that the people from Queensland and Victoria can have, can enjoy this beautiful place. So that's going to start very soon. Next up is from Adelaide. So if you remember a few weeks back, we discussed about, Adelaide Airport. They were, doing some upgrades and things were like that. And this time, if you are going through the Adelaide Airport in last few days, you must be noticing that they have got it decorated nicely in some maroon color, some red colors, and they are like a Qatar Airways main signature colors. So if you wonder what it is, and in case you haven't seen that, so Adelaide Airport is done in Qatar Airways signature colors this week as a part of the celebration of the 5th anniversary of airline's inaugural Doha to Adelaide services on 3rd of May. So this week you will see that color. So I think there is some joy to celebrate. So that's what I thought of sharing with you. Next up from the Cook Islands. So Cook Islands will welcome Kiwi visitors from people from New Zealand from 17th of May onwards. So New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda already confirmed that earlier this week. Those who have been in New Zealand for previous 14 days can travel to the Cook Islands of Rarotonga and return home without any issues, without any isolation or quarantine. Earlier end of this trip. So earlier, before this bubble happened, one way, it was actually one way because the people from COVID Cook Islanders required to quarantine upon return. But this time it's from both ways. They don't have to do anything. So Cook Island Tourism Corporation for Australasia General Manager Green West said country's residents are waiting with open arms and big smiles to greet their first visitors in over a year. So it's really quite exciting, and I'm sure if New Zealand open very soon, we'll have updates for Australia as well. Next up for IATA Pass, guys. So you must be noticing from last pretty much couple of months, we are discussing about IATA Pass. How is the progress going? So gonna get you update this week as well. So Malaysian Airlines has begun trialing IATA Pass app on flights from Kuala Lumpur to London, with their carrier saying planning to integrate the technology into its own mobile platform. So Malaysian Airlines already trying. And next is Philippines Airlines, the code is PL. They also announced it will trial the IATA Travel Pass on routes from Manila to Los Angeles and Singapore starting from next month. So passengers on designated services are being invited to join this trial. The exclusive PAL merchandise to be given to those who participate in this one. And iPhone 7 or newer is currently required to use this app. So there are a lot of things happening, guys, and there are a lot of airlines already trying this. So that's really a great news. Next up from British Airways. The British Airways will add flights to Wrocław, to Gdańsk in Poland, and also they're planning to have a lot more expansions in upcoming northern summer flight schedules. So you'll see there are airlines opening and doing everything the best they can by adding different routes. So that's really amazing news. And next, I want to tell you about the carbon emission plan. So like I mentioned before as well, there are so many airlines who are working on this plan that, the carbon emission should be less or, net zero. So this time, the carbon neutral ENA Japanese carrier, if you know ANA, has flagged its intention to reduce carbon emission levels from aircraft operations to net zero by 2050. I know it's long way, 2050, but yes, this is really great initiative which they have planned. So they are doing it by utilizing new technology emission tradings, developing more efficient planes and sustainable aviation fuels. So by all means, they are really doing a really good effort. Next is from Disney. I think there must be kids who must be wondering what's happening with Disney. So guys, Disney, and they call it a title as Disney Awakens. So finally, after 412 long days, Disney is planning to open on this Friday. So Disney Park early this week hosted a special event to celebrate the reawakening of, they call it the Sleeping Beauty Castle, ahead of the opening of its California theme park on coming Friday. And as I said, it's after 412 days. I'm sure there'll be a lot of kids excited that whenever, where they are, and they would love to go to Disney, including myself. Though I'm a big girl, but I'm still small. So that's really quite exciting news, guys. And next up is from Thailand. So Thai quarantine. So Thailand has returned its quarantine period for upcoming passengers to 14 days, finally again, amid a range of new restrictions aiming to contain our COVID-19 outbreak. Restaurant dining has also been banned in Bangkok at this stage and several other hard-hit provinces. With local urge to only take essential travel, but they are still taking passengers in, and they are still they are doing quarantine for 14 days. So there are options to go to Thailand. And also I have really amazing news for the cruise lovers. So, American Centers for CDC, that's called, so that Center for Disease Control and Prevention, has flagged the ability for cruising in US waters to commence by July this year. That means just in a couple of months, they are planning to ease all these restrictions. So with the easing of several previous requirements under its conditional sale order as vaccine rollout continues. So initial framework stipulated that cruise lines would have to be operate test cruises with the volunteer passengers to test their protocols. But under the latest update, this can be passed if 90%, 98% of the crew and 95% of the passengers are fully vaccinated. That's a report from USA Today. But it's really quite exciting news for those who are planning to go for cruises. I'm sure people asked from Australia as well would be able to do it very soon. But the good news is that cruise are coming on place, and right now there are so many exciting deals as well in market, where they're giving you option to buy cruises for 2022, 2023 is already in market. So yes, seems like you can plan and pray that everything opens very soon. So these are the main updates, Misty.
Yes, and that's exciting news that the cruises will start, and of course Disney. So I didn't know that you were a big little girl. You still love all the Disney things. Anyway, that's wonderful. It's good to see that the cruises will start. And with the cruises, I mean, this is going off a little bit on the sidetrack, but I've noticed that you have to book way in advance to get your cabins and booths, don't you? And of course, there must be a lot of pre-planning that people might have to do.
Yeah, generally people book it like 12 months or even 24 months in advance in general cases. And this time, there are so many people are so desperate to go. It's just some people are still thinking, we don't know what will happen to the situation. But the good news, the amazing is most of the cruise lines who are offering, these deals these days are also coming with very flexible plans. So like they will be non-refundable or changing dates and all without much penalty. So that's really good news, guys. You might think of cruises now onwards.
So that's a good encouragement, to book in advance, that knowing that, if you need to change, you are able to do so now, not as strict as it was in the early days when, there was so much demand for it. Well, right now, with the borders closed and, of course, flights from India reopening, hopefully with everything going okay on the 15th, with all this happening, what are the options, or what are the flight options from Brisbane now?
So from Brisbane, amazing. We are mainly recommending people to take one of the Emirates repatriation flights, guys. So there is no problem going from Brisbane to India at this stage. Just remember, only Indian citizens on temporary visas can fly right now, not Australian citizens or PR until further notice. But there are so many flights. We have at least 2 flights per week going from Brisbane straight with one stop in Dubai. Those who are going to Delhi, you have 4.5 hours halt option as well. And those who are going to different cities, you have pretty much 16 hours halt option for 2 flights every Friday and in most cases Sundays as well. we have one-stop flights. Otherwise, every couple of days we can send you via Melbourne or Sydney. So there are quite a few flights. There is no problem at this stage.
Wow, that is good to know, because people would have thought otherwise, that maybe there's no flights going at this point in. So that's the good part about this show, is that you get to find out about all the things that are happening. So flights are happening, people can go, but of course if you meet those criteria, then you are allowed to travel. Okay, of course. So that's Brisbane covered. What about Sydney? What are the options from Sydney?
So from Sydney, there is no charter this days, guys. Once again, you have Emirates flights. So we have 8th of May, 13th of May, 15th of May, 20th of May, and then a couple of flights every week. You can buy for the rest of the year. There is no problem. So once again, those who are going from Sydney, so rule applies throughout Australia to India. Only Indian citizens on temporary visa can fly, but flight-wise, there is no problem from Sydney as well.
So now Sydney, no problems from Sydney as well. Sydney is good to go as well. That is good, good to know. Yes, and now of course going on to Melbourne. So what's happening from Melbourne? And I can see that smile on your face once again.
So smile is Melbourne is the only city, in Australia, where there is still one charter available. So 30th of May is one charter available, guys. That's Melbourne to India, Melbourne to Delhi mainly, and then it can be connected anywhere. But if you want to go before that, or in fact, I would highly recommend this stage go with Emirates flights, because they are more flexible, refundable, and changeable without much extra charges. So we have a couple of flights from Melbourne as well. Next available is 8th of May, 12th of May, 15th, 19th, and then a couple of flights every week. So quite a few flights from Melbourne without any issues.
And that is a very sound advice that you gave about, going with the ones where you've got a little bit of flexibility if you need to, change few things. I mean, I think having that luxury and that assurance that, should things change, that you've got that option available to you. That very sound advice. Well, right now, moving on to a little bit away from Melbourne, South Australia, let's go to Adelaide. So what's the situation there, and what are the updates from Adelaide?
So from Adelaide, we have one flight straight, at least with one stop. So that's, again, there is no problem. So once a week, you can go with just one stop. And then if you want to go other dates, we can connect you via Melbourne or Sydney or Brisbane as well. So you can fly at least 3 times a week, but within one stop, you have one flight a week. Next available is on 14th, 21st, and 28th of May.
Okay, so there we go. There's some options there available from South Australia, from Adelaide. Well, right now, let's go to the other part of this beautiful country of ours. If you travel the length and the breadth, we go on the other side, Western Australia. So what's the update from Perth?
So Perth, guys, we have quite a few flights as well. Once again, we are recommending Emirates. You can connect with the charter as well, the one going from Melbourne. But from Perth, it's highly recommended to take a direct flight directly from Perth. That's Emirates flights, next available on 9th of May, 13th of May, 16th of May, and 20th of May. So you have sometimes 3 or 4 days difference, basically. So every 3 or 4 days, you have one flight going from Perth, happily, so there is no problem.
So that is very good option as well, as you have just mentioned that Emirates seems to be, the preferred choice at this point in time, with the adapting to the situation and providing all those many different options. But that is very, very good. So any update? I know, of course, we are waiting on that big announcement on the 15th. But any update for India to Australia?
So India to Australia flights, guys, as I mentioned before that, the government already planned to lift the ban on 15th of May. So the charter, which was planned, after 15th of May, is still as per the plan. So next available is 21st of May, 28th of May, 4th of June, 11th of June. So those who were affected by the flights in last few weeks, they are all already sent email to reschedule. If you haven't received anything yet, you can call us as well, and we can reschedule you to any of the upcoming flights. So these all looks fine. Majority of flights, guys, are coming from Chennai. So Malaysian Airlines charter is mainly coming from Chennai. That's on 28th of May, 4th of June. And also the Garuda Indonesia charter is still on hold, and we are still waiting for the charter organizer to inform us when they're going to reschedule the flight. So please don't worry if you were planning to come to Brisbane because Garuda Indonesia charter was the only one which was, giving you option to do a quarantine in Brisbane, but that's on hold at this stage. So most probably next week we are expecting, some announcement from Garuda Indonesia, which we can inform to you guys. But at this stage, bookings are already open for India to Australia, 21st May onwards till 11th of June. And also there are some flights released from Air India. So you might expect some call from Air India as well, or might try to book them. They got, every flight, one flight a week from starting from next couple of weeks after 15th of May. So yeah, there are flights coming up, and we're expecting this time there'll be a lot more flights, because it seems government is also very interested to bring, the standard Australian back quick as possible. So this time we're expecting a lot more flights from India to Australia like we had before. So yeah, very, very good news that amazed.
And that is wonderful news that, after the ban is lifted on the 15th, well, it must be very hard, and I take my hats off to you, because, being in the industry where you need to keep changing things, there are many things which are not certain. When you plan, especially charter flights, there must be a lot of planning to go in the background, arranging flights, making terminals being booked and all those things. So people might not realize how much work that might be going on in the background, and people contacting you, then you, telling someone that, yes, I'll book your flight, then informing them that, hey, that flight is cancelled. So having to deal with all these things. So there's a lot of doom and gloom in the industry, and you, remaining this vibrant and vigilant throughout the thing. That is wonderful to see that. And of course, it comes across when you're saving customers. So you need to always have that smile, as they say. Well, right now, people, yes. So right now, people who are traveling at this point in time, what would be your tips for them during this time?
Umesh, those who are going from Australia to India, I would say if you have to go, then please go as soon as possible, especially till 15th of May, because we don't know. Right now, airlines is really going on loss. They're taking very, very less number of passengers. So, they might have less of flights or something. So if you think it's important for you to go in next 10 days, then you can go faster. Or there will be, I hope, more flights going after 15th of May. And those who are in India, so as I mentioned to you before that, along with the COVID test report, you need the rapid antigen report as well. So please check around you, calling the pathologies or doing a bit of research where you can get it. And also those who are in India, I would recommend you to please check around you whether there is any pathology who can visit you and do a test for you, since there is the situation is really worst over there. I spoke to some of the past passengers in last few weeks, and I was informed, especially in Delhi, there are centers, the pathologies and all who are visiting you, and they are really fully covered, which means you will have less exposure. So guys, remember, those who are in India, I'll have mainly tips for you all, that as soon as you book your ticket, please remember to quarantine yourself inside. You should not get COVID at any cost, because first, it's really health-wise it's not good, and second, all the flights still coming from India to Australia, they all are 100% non-refundable and non-changeable. So you're losing a big chunk of money. And in fact, when you do a COVID test as well, just straight away quarantine yourself, don't touch anything, and bring those, people if they can. If you know a couple of people around you, you can just go on a one spot and try to avoid the crowd and all. So that's really very, very important. And those who are, and there will be a lot more forms to be filled when you come from India to Australia, which we will send you wherever you book. Just keep checking that if there is any other form required to be filled. And also, guys, I saw that whenever people come from India to Australia, there is a quarantine form required to be filled. And we have seen just before this announcement happened, when people were still coming on 23rd of April, also have seen that some people haven't filled it, thinking they can give all this information once they reach here. So please remember, you have to fill all those forms. Just don't assume anything yourself. Filling all those forms gonna really save you a lot of stress. Otherwise, it's everything, as you know, it's already stressful. And those who are going from Australia, you have to do still the same way. Like you have to take the COVID test done 72 hours before departure, self-declaration form, Indian arrival form. So it's exactly the same. And guys, if whatever dates we discuss, if you're not flying on those dates and you want to send your expression of interest, especially those who are from India to Australia, please send it across to us so we can send to the charter companies that these are the days where people are more interested, so they can accommodate some more charters in upcoming weeks. And if you like this episode, please share with your family and friends. It might give them a bit of peace that yes, something is happening at this stage. Today is 29th episode, so we have 28 more episodes already there on our social media platforms, on Australian Indian Radio, AusIndia Travel, Brisbane Indian Times. So you can always check those, share with your friends, and you can check what all our clients tell about us, and like and tag and share with your friends. And remember, guys, once again, I always proud to say, doesn't matter you booked with us or not, doesn't matter your flight got cancelled before, you have to recheck it, you have to get some relevant information which you could not find today. You can always call us, email us, jump on our website, send us a call request. We are always happy to call you, or we are always happy to help you every way possible. And we don't charge anything at all. It's just a community service to help you all. This is the time where we all have to be together and we are with you. So don't worry about it. You can always even message us on our hotline, which is 04044032264. That's available on Viber, on Telegram, on WhatsApp, everywhere. It's on all platforms. You can contact us. And I hope you all are safe and sound. And those who are in India, we are really waiting to get back home, and we are trying all our best to get you here as fast as possible. So please take care and stay safe.
And I think the very wonderful message that you gave out there that, we are in this together and we need to stay united, and of course always keep our wits about things and not get overexcited, overheated, and sometimes people start saying things which are way above the top. Of course no one likes the situation that we are in, and no one likes to put the bans on either, but of course there are both sides of the equation. One, yes, we are citizens, we need to come back. Number two is of course the health and security, the national security of the country as well. So there are many things that have to be looked in totality. You don't look at just one point and just drum on that one point. Once again, Tanvi, thank you so much for being on the show today, and of course sharing all that very wonderful and very informative session once again with all our viewers and listeners, because it is very timely, and as you have rightfully mentioned that things do change, so it is very important to keep up to date and listening. So once again, thank you so much for being on the show, and of course sharing all that information with all our viewers and listeners.
Thank you, Bilji. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.